I'm glad. See, this is why I'm glad you said that, because I was sitting here talking and I just talked about how yesterday I forgot to unmute myself, but wasn't really that. It's just that I was at work and I had my laptop in the docking station. I got to take it out and put it back in for it to work. And I'm glad you pointed that out. But Jesus, why am I doing that, man? No sound. I hope you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Let me know if it hit me with a bruh if you can hear me in the chat room, man. God, you would think episode 55 by now I would get it right about now, right? Oh, Jesus, man. Anywho, give me a second here. Give me a second, y'all. Yeah, go ahead, and if you got Packet Tracer, GNS3, even G, whatever floats your boat, go ahead and drag and drop 2 routers just like this. Router 1, cable it up, and put a router 2 right next to it. Go ahead and give it these IP addresses right here, and I'm gonna give it a couple minutes for some people to get started on stuff. You would think, man, episode number 55 of doing these live streams, I will get it right about now, right? Appreciate you for pointing that out, Juan. Juan de Dios Gonzalez. Does that mean you like the God? Kind of like Charlemagne the God calls himself Charlemagne the God. Does de Dios Gonzalez mean like the God? Let me correct me if I'm wrong. But I only took 1 semester of Spanish in community college, so you know my Spanish ain't really that strong. Again, we're just gonna give it a couple minutes for some late stragglers to come in. I usually give it a couple minutes for some viewers to tune into the stream here. Give them time to set up their lab. If this is your first time tuning in, we typically lab from this book right here. It's called 101 Labs, Cisco CCNA version 4. You can get a copy of this from 101labs.net, or there's a link in the description box below, and you can get a copy of the book from there. It is an affiliate link, so I do get commission. And also, it's from Amazon. So I'm just giving you that forewarning because it'll take you off the YouTube website and put you to Amazon so you can get the copy of the book right there. No, I did not write it. It was written by Paul Browning. And he's the author. He was in law enforcement for like several years, and he retired. Then he got into IT, and he co-authored it with this guy named Farai Chafa, who is a 2-time CCIE, I believe. 2 times? Or was it just 1 time? I can't even remember. Yeah, dual CCIE in both routing and switching and service provider. So he know his shit. So it's a really good book. I like it because experts agree that we retain only 10% of what we read, but 90% of what we do. And y'all know I always use that analogy of comparing, our skills of this to driving a car. You can read all the theory from a book all you want. You know, how to make a 3-point turn, how to turn left, how to turn right, how to signal, and all the signs, how to yield and all of that stuff. But it's not until you get behind the wheel that you learn how to drive a car. So that's what we're doing here. We're basically getting in the driver's seat and configuring these routers and switches. Hopefully you have some kind of simulator or emulator to practice this as well. Juan said he's from Costa Rica. Shout out Costa Rica, man. I wanted to visit that country. It's more Central America, right? Yeah, that's more Central America. I've never been to I guess I've been to Mexico. So I've been to Tulum, Mexico last year, and I've been to Cozumel, but I don't really consider that a stay because that was a cruise ship stay. So that's the only part of Central America I visit, but I do want to visit Costa Rica. Went to South America a year before that. I went to Colombia. So shout out Costa Rica. But yeah, he said something like that. Juan de Dios Gonzalez. That's a cool name though, man. I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes for some late stragglers to come in because, we got some people that like to walk into class late. Again, let me go ahead and give you guys a Discord server in case you want to contact me outside of the stream and stuff like that. Y'all run me with that like button if you like what you see so far, even though we haven't even covered shit yet. Where is my Discord app? Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. I remember that old ass song. I know I'm showing my age now. I'm talking about one-hit wonders from the mid-90s. Awesome. I'll try to get that book. I'm on Packet Tracer. Yeah, bro. Come down, CR. We have a lot of nature places. That's cool, man. I would definitely want to I definitely want to visit Costa Rica, man. That is definitely on my bucket list. But if you're using Packet Tracer, Juan, go ahead and drag and drop 2 routers just like this right here. Router 1, router 2, and just go ahead and cable them up between just like this. I have physical hardware, so I'm going to be using a fast Ethernet interface. So this is going to be FA00 for me, and that's going to be FA00 for me, right? So your interfaces might be different depending on what you're using. If you're using even G or whatever like that. I know we got Christopher in the building. Shout out Christopher from Baton Rouge. That's what's up, man. From Baton Rouge. Yeah, I went there. Damn, I guess I'm kind of well traveled, ain't I? I went to Baton Rouge because my brother went to school there. Yeah, I mentioned that yesterday, right? Yeah, because he went to LSU, and he graduated in 2004. Went back and got his other degree in 2005. So yeah, I went for his graduation. Back in the day, I used to rap and stuff like that. He used to have a radio station. I drove up there and actually did a show in not Baton Rouge, but next over New Orleans. So that's back when I used to like make music and stuff like that. So, and yeah, he actually used to be a DJ at Tulane University, which that is, I want to say, that's in New Orleans, right? Right, Tulane. But anyways, yeah, he was a DJ at is it TUL? I thought he was a DJ at KLSU. I can't even remember now. I want to say he DJ'd at both. I can't even remember now. Yeah, that was 90s music was the best. This stuff is complete. Man, tell me about it, Dave. I don't know, man. I'm just stuck in the 90s, man. I listen to like Nas, Biggie, you know, that kind of stuff, man. You know, Common, just the mid-90s stuff, man. Boot Camp Click, all that stuff, man. Just the old, just that boom bap hip hop stuff, man. DJ Premier, anything from DJ Premier, man. Gangstar, that's the kind of stuff I listen to. But we're 10 minutes into the stream here. Huang said, I've seen a lot of videos from you. I finished all CCNA modules and tried to get my certification. That's why I'm here. I'm ready with the routers on Packet Tracer. All right, cool. If you're ready, then that means I'm ready. We're 10 minutes into the stream. I usually wait about 10 minutes, and I believe that's as much as who's going to be here. So let's go ahead and start. The lab says for task number 1, again, we're doing DHCP. You remember what DHCP is, right? Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Basically, hosts on the network, whether it's a cell phone, a laptop, a computer, desktop computer, they all need IP addresses to communicate on the network, right? Or to communicate on the internet, right? Well, how do we get these IP addresses? Well, we can type in the IP address of the computer, right? Like my computer. Well, I ain't gonna show you right now, but you can statically enter a IP address for the computer, right? Like 192.168.1.2 or whatever, right? Whatever the case is, right? But if you got 500 computers, it's hard to manually put in IP address for all of those computers, right? And what if somebody turns off and the lease expired on it, or you type in a duplicate out? It's more prone to human error if you got to manually type in these IP addresses. Well, that's what DHCP is for. DHCP allows you to dynamically assign IP addresses to computers, so do it automatically for you, and then also. This can be done with a physical DHCP server, like with Linux server or Windows server or anything like that. Or you can use this routers or switches. They also provide DHCP services. Today, obviously, we're going to do it on a router. So we're going to have this router right here. I believe we're going to make him a DHCP server, right? And then, if I could, right? And then we'll have him hand out an IP address to this guy right here. That's why he got an X right there, because he's a variable. So he's going to be 192.168.10. something. That's why they put the X there, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Task number 1 says, and if you got the book, we are on lab number 69. Troubleshooting and configuring troubleshooting and configuring DHCP client server router based. So the objective is this lab is to implement DHCP and Cisco router, both server and a client. So this guy is going to be the DHCP server, and this guy is going to be the DHCP client, right? Again, he's going to hand out IP addresses to that guy right there, right? There's only one guy there, so he's going to give him only one IP address. And 9 times out of 10, it's usually the first available IP address in a subnet. Configuring DHCP is an important task for every engineer, blah, 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 blah. Basically, we're going to have configured DHCP. Router 1 will be a DHCP server. Router 2 will be configured as the client to obtain an address on its GI00 interface. Again, this guy, he is not going to have an IP address. He's going to ask for one, right? Remember, we talked about the process of getting a DHCP address, right? First, he does. We remember that the term DORA, right? D, which stands for discover. First, he's gonna first discover for DHCP services or servers on the network, right? Once he receives it, once router 1 receives it, he is going to offer him O, right? D, O. He's going to offer him a DHCP address. He's gonna be, hey, look, I got you a great address, man. I got you an IP address. I got you a DNS server. I got you a default gateway. All this stuff. Tell me, do you like that information? He is going to receive it, right? And then he's gonna be like, I like this information. I got an IP address. I got a default gateway. I got a domain name. This is great, man. So he is going to you remember what that means, right? Request for that information. So he gets it and he's going to request it. Right? D-O-R-E, and that D-O-R-A, and that's how we remember this stuff, right? D for discover. I'm not going to write all discover right there, but that's discover. So D-O-R, and the last one was A. So once he receives it, he'll be like, oh, okay, looks like router 2 likes this information. Let me go ahead. I acknowledged it, and he's going to go ahead and send him that information and say, hey, look, I got your information. I'm going to save it. I'm going to let everybody else know you're going to have this IP address, and you can hold it for this amount of time, right? So he's going to acknowledge it, and that's how we remember it. D-O-R-A. Just like Dora the Explorer, the cartoon. That's how we remember it, right? So let's go ahead and task number 1. Configure the host names on router 1, router 2. As you know, these are my hardware, and I already statically assigned those host names, so that's already done. Y'all know how to do that, right? Host names. So he's router 1. He is obviously router 2. If you don't know, go ahead and ask in the chat, or I'll show you how to configure a host name right now. You know, don't be embarrassed, man. I don't care how simple the task is. I will show you how to do it, but I've already got it done, so I don't need to do it. While I'm gonna give it some time for some new people to ask if they need to know how to do that. I'll go ahead and erase all of this. I'm gonna assume you guys do know how to do it. And erase all of this shit. Bloop, 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 bloop. Come on, man. I gotta get a bigger eraser than this, man. What's going on here, man? Come on, Vlad. Man, come on, Vlad. I don't know why that got, did it got saved or something? Because it's trying to undo it, but whatever. All right, so that was task 1. We only got, how many tasks we got today? Today we only got 6 tasks. So let's go ahead and knock this out. We got to configure the IP address on the GI00 interface on router 1. So we got to configure this IP address right here. Oops. Get my marker going here. This IP address. We got to configure that. So go back on that interface. Mine is, if you see the do show IP interface brief, I don't have a Gigabit 00 interface. I have a fast Ethernet interface. So that's the interface I got. Your interfaces might be different. Remember that, right? So I'm going to go interface FA00, give him the IP address of 192.168.10.1, subnet mask of /24. Oops, Fat Finger Squad in the building. 0. And I'm going to leave that shut for now. I'm not going to unshut it just yet. Router 2 will obtain the IP of its Gigabit interface of DHCP. So we're not going to configure this interface just yet. Task 3, configure a DHCP pool on router 1 to provide an IP address to the different devices connected on its Gigabit 00 interface, in my case FA00, with the following settings. DHCP pool name, the pool name is going to be pool-1. The subnet is going to be 192.168.10.0. The DNS server is 4.2.2.2.2, and the default gateway is 10.1. So this is going to be the default gateway. That is, and we also want to exclude this from being handed out in the DHCP pool. Y'all remember how to do that from yesterday, right? If not, just follow along. So we created the IP address on that guy. Let's go ahead and create the DHCP pool. It is IP. The command to do that is IP, right? All the IP services, obviously, they start with IP, right? You question mark, you'll see all the IP services we can do, right? We can do default gateway. We can do DHCP. Obviously, that's what we're going to do today. We can do alias. We can do a whole bunch of stuff, right? Hostname, whatever. So in this case, let me stop explaining here. DHCP pool, pool, and the name of it was, he said pool -1. You should be able to do this on Packet Tracer. That is the pool name. Once you do that, you'll be in DHCP configuration mode. Once we're in here, we're going to create the subnet. The subnet, we type in the word network, and the subnet is 192.168.10.0, subnet mask of /24.0, just like that. Y'all with me so far? Anybody any questions? Got the host name done. Okay, good, Juan. I'm glad you caught up. For anybody that's just tuning in, we're doing DHCP services. We're going to have this guy as a DHCP server, and this guy is going to be a DHCP client, and he is going to hand out an IP address to that guy right there, right? Just in case you are just getting caught up. It's a real simple lab. If you're using GNS3 or even G, just drag and drop 2 routers just like this right here and cable them up just like that, and you should be able to get caught up because I've been talking so much shit. So let's go ahead. We did the network address. Now let's do the DNS server. There's not going to be any DNS services on here, but they want us to do it anyway. DNS server is 4.2.2.2, just like that. And the default gateway, which is 10.1, which is going to be that guy right there. So let's case, for example, if this is our default gateway, right, and we needed to go out to the internet right here, boop, I'm going to draw a cloud for y'all, right? And if this guy needed to go out to the internet, he needs to speak to his default gateway. Well, who's going to be the default gateway? That guy right there. So when he wants to go out to the internet, he needs to go to the default gateway, and the router 1 will send out his information. And that's what we're going to do. We're handing out information about the default gateway. We do that with default router command. And then the default gateway is 192.168.10.1. And we also, the note says to make sure you exclude the 10.1 address from the DHCP pool, right? Because remember, this is the network we're gonna assign, or the subnet we're gonna assign, right? But when you have a network pool, it's going to hand out the first available IP address, right? The first available IP address in this case was going to be 10.1. Well, guess what? That is this router, and we don't want anybody else to have that IP address. So we're going to exclude that IP address, just like yesterday, right? Just like yesterday. So we're going to go ahead and exclude that IP address, right? When you want to do that, you're not going to be in DHCP configuration mode. You have to actually get out of the configuration mode and just go to global configuration mode, which is configuration T, and then, or configure terminal, and then IP DHCP, and then excluded, just like that, excluded address. And what's the address we want to exclude from being handed out? 192.168.10.1. Y'all with me so far? Press enter. And we can verify our work with show IP DHCP pool. And there's the information we got. We got the name of the pool. We got the utilization mark, how, when it's going to give us a warning when we got too many addresses being handed out. This is how many addresses we can hand out. We have no leased addresses just yet, as of yet. And here's the address range. Oddly enough, we said we wanted to exclude 10.1 from being handed out, right? But it says that is the range. You would think it would have told us, well, don't you want to exclude? I thought the excluded address information would be in there, but maybe it doesn't do that for routers, but it definitely does it for a switch. I don't know. I don't want to recreate that just yet. So task number 4. We only got 6 tasks, and we're almost done here, y'all. Configure router 2, this guy right here. Boop. His interface gig00, or in my case, FA00, to obtain an IP address. So we want to get an IP address. Remember, we're going to discover first. Get an IP address from that pool that we created that was in here, right? So we're going to get an IP address for that interface right there. The way we do that is we go to router 2, first of all, and go to global configuration mode. We go to that interface, well, in my case is FA00. Remember, your interface might be different. Anybody got a question so far? Will Packet Tracer work with this lab book? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Not the entire book. There's some labs you can't do Packet Tracer because remember, Packet Tracer is very limited with its commands. They give you just enough to pass the CCNA exam, but there's some commands that you can't do. So I say you can do about 90 to 95% of the stuff in this book with Packet Tracer. I got it excluded right on Packet Tracer. So yeah, see, Juan's using Packet Tracer, and he was able to do this part right here. So I believe with this whole lab, you can do Packet Tracer for sure. So we go to that interface, right? This interface right here. And we're going to have it obtain an IP address. Typically, we're just manually typing our IP address, right? But again, if we have 500 devices, we don't want to manually type in our IP addresses with the IP address command and then type in the IP address. Instead of doing that, we're going to put in the keyword, put a question mark, and I'll show you. We can manually type in the IP address. We can auto-configure it from a local pool, or we can just negotiate via DHCP. Well, guess what we're going to do? DHCP. So we just IP address, DHCP. Press enter, and pray to the network gods. Anybody know why? Let's do this. Show IP interface brief. All right, so notice that interface is admin down. So let's go ahead and bring it up and see if we can get an IP address, right? Let's go to global config mode. I'm gonna throw y'all a little curveball right now, right? Actually, they're gonna throw us some curveballs on task 6, so maybe I shouldn't do that. Yeah, let me give y'all one more curveball. Tell me why. So I'm gonna go with that interface FA00, right? This one right here, that guy right there. I'm gonna turn it on. So I'm gonna turn it up, right? Turn it down for what? Interface FA0, no shut, right? We can verify with show IP interface brief again. We'll see that is up. We said our method is DHCP to obtain an address, but for some reason it says unassigned. Let's verify that again. Show IP interface brief. Boom. All we do is get an IP address. Perfect. You know what? I think I turned it up already. I thought I shut it down, but it's all good though. I thought it was gonna. Yeah, we turned it up. That's what it was. I know, shut it. I thought it wasn't gonna obtain one, but it looks like right there. See that message right there? DHCP level 6 message. Remember the levels could be from 0 to 7. 0 meaning catastrophic. Call the alarm, or sound the alarm, and call the police. Like shit done broke. Or level 7, which is just an information, just to let you know this is a level 6 message, right? So 0 is worse. 7 is just to let you know. So this is a level 6 message. It lets us know that there's an address that was assigned to that interface, FA00. We assigned the address 10.2, which is perfect. We didn't get 10.1 because he already got it. So we got now 10.2, right? Let me erase all of this shit. Look like my daughter's handwriting over here. That guy right there is 10.2. So that's perfect, right? Now we can do show IP interface brief again, and we'll see we got that IP address. It's perfect. Confirm the IP address on both the DHCP server and the client. Well, we did it on the client. Let's go on the server and see what he got. How can we verify that? We go to the router 1, which is the DHCP server, this guy. Right, we're going to go on this guy right here and see what information he handed out to that guy right there. Well, we already know that we gave him 10.2, but what is it? How do we verify that on here? Well, show IP DHCP pool. We do that. We see we lease one address. We have no pending events. Here's the range. How can we verify? Pop quiz, real quick. How can we verify who got that IP address on here? Like we see we leased an IP address. How can we verify who got it? Anybody know? You sir in the back. Do you know? How can we verify who got it? Can we get more information? What can we do on router 1, on this guy right here, to verify who got that IP address? Cue the Jeopardy theme song here. Anybody, put in the chat. While y'all figure that out, task 5, if you got the book, and if you're just tuning in, this book is called 101 Labs Cisco CCNA version 4. You can get a copy of this from 101labs.net. I be sounding like a commercial, don't I? Or there's a link in the description box below, and you get a copy of this. This is that'll be an affiliate link, so I do get commission if you click it, and it helps out with this channel and stuff like that. It gives me time to pay some bills and actually run this channel for y'all, right? And teach y'all this stuff. But anyways, Dave, did you get the answer yet? Let's see you say thank you over there. Also, if you had this book, you'll know the answer right there, and you would have put it in the chat room. Trace route, I guess you could trace route, but who am I going to trace route to? Trace out the 10.2? Let me do that for you real quick. Trace route 192.168.10.2. Right? I trace routed it. That just tells me all I did right there was kind of like pinged. I just seen what hop. I'm only one hop away, so pretty good guess. But no, that's not gonna tell me who got that IP address 10.2. That's a good guess though, man. Since nobody want to answer, y'all being bashful over there. Basically, what we want to do is, if you had the book, you will know. All you got to do is show IP DHCP close to what we did right here. Show IP DHCP. Instead of DHCP pool, we do DHCP binding. So we do show IP DHCP binding. And that'll map the MAC address of the other device to the IP address. Right? You see that? And we also gave him a lease time. When it's going to expire. Juan got it correct. Show IP DHCP binding. And I don't know if there was a lag on the stream here and you just answered it after you heard me say it, or if you genuinely knew. But I hope you do know, and I believe you probably do, Juan, because you sound like a smart guy. But it's all good, though. This is when the lease is going to expire. Remember, I think by default, they expire in 24 hours, right? Let me show what my clock is real kind show clock. It expires at 12:17. So, yeah, that sounds about right. The 30th. So, by default, that's another pop, not a pop quiz, but like a kind of like a a fun fact for y'all. By default, DHCP leases expire in 24 hours. You can modify it like we did yesterday to expire whenever you want. But in that case, we did it for we left it by default. So, but what's weird here is we got a couple IP addresses here. I mean, a couple MAC addresses here though. Let's go on router 2 and see what his MAC address is. Right? Let's do a show version real quick on router 2. So we're going on this guy, seeing what his MAC address is. Right? His MAC. Not Mac Daddy, Macaroni. What is your MAC address, router 2? We got your serial number. We got your other serial number, same serial number. I believe you could do show. What is it? Inventory. That's gonna tell you MAC address. I don't think that's gonna work on. I don't know. Let me know if that works on Packet Tracer one. Show inventory. But we got the serial numbers here. Nope, that's not going to give us our MAC address. That is not. It gives us the motherboard and the chassis information. What we could do is, I think you can look at the burned in MAC address of that actual interface right there, right? So let's do that real quick. Show interface FA00. We have the MAC address that is right here. 0016. It ends in 0144. So that is the BIA. Y'all know what that is? Not BIA. No, that's the burned in address. So we got a physically burned in address on that interface right there, right? It ended in 0144. Let's go back on the router and see what that was. That is not it. So it's probably the physical address of that MAC address. What is that hardware address? Oh, see, that's the client ID, and that's the hardware address, and then that says username. That's interesting. I want to verify that information though, for sure. The DHCP device. That's rather interesting. Where can we get that MAC address information? It's not a show version for some reason. It wasn't in show inventory. What else can we do here? Let me just do a show MAC real quick. Show MAC address table real quick. Oh, he ain't got no MAC address table. Oh, yeah, you do. What am I thinking? Show MAC address. So MAC address table. He ain't got no MAC address table at all. How can I get the verify the MAC address on this guy, man? Interesting. See, this is why I like going back to the fundamentals right here. I was thinking that was going to be the physical MAC address of the other router right here, and he tied it to that IP address that we gave him 10.2. Remember, we gave him 10.2 right here. So that is going to be where's Kelvin when you need him, right? See, what are these MAC addresses here? It didn't end in any of that right there. We got 2D30, 3262, and 4661. That is rather interesting. Let's do this. See, we gave him that IP address right there, 10.2. It ended in 0144. But he's saying these are the guys that got that IP address. So that's weird. That threw me off there. I might have to research that some other time. That's rather interesting. Anyways, I'm gonna have to go back on that one. See, so that's how we verified it on the server. On the client, we already did the show IP interface brief. That we confirmed it with this guy right here, right? Show IP interface brief. Where you at? Show IP interface brief, and we obtained it via DHCP, and that is the IP address we got, right? So that was good to go. Task 6 says, now, this is the final task, and we could wrap this lab up, and then we'll try to knock out the other lab. Now, break the lab in a few ways. Start from the beginning, reload the routers. Don't exclude the IP address. Miss off the IP address DHCP command. Configure the wrong network range. Configure the correct network range, but with subnet mask of 252.252. So you only have 2 hosts. So basically, they want us to do this whole lab over again. Damn it, Paul Browning. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that because it's good. That's how you learn things. You break things and you try to fix it. So I'm gonna go ahead and reload. You guys can probably just close it. So don't save. No. Nope. And I'm gonna reload that guy. Reload. Nope. And basically we'll do the same lab over again, but do what he said there to see what happens when we do all of that. Then after that, we're going to move on to task lab number 70, DHCP relay. And while these live routers are reloading, let me go ahead and explain that. DHCP relay is a way for us to reach out to a DHCP server that is not in our local area network. So remember, let's look at this because they're going to use a different topology in the next lab. Let's say we had a third router over here, right? And we'll call him router 3. Right, and we're going to connect him to router 1, just like that right there, right? And he is actually going to be our DHCP server. Right, so this guy is going to be our DHCP server. And then this guy is going to be still our client. And this guy, he's just a middleman. He ain't even, we don't even know what he's going to make him yet, right? So, and let's say this is a different network. Let's say this is the 10.1 network. Let's say this is the 20.0 network, right? Or this is the 10.0 network. This is actually the 10.0 network right here, right? So let's say that it's the 20.0 network. When remember we said DORA, right? When we're looking for a DHCP server, we discover first. So we're going to look for any kind of DHCP servers that are on our network, right? We're going to discover, right? If we had another router there or any other network there, we're going to send a discover message, D, right? Discover to see if there's any DHCP services or servers on our network. In our local area network, in this example, we technically don't have one, right? Well, this guy knows that there is one actually. It's just that he's not one, right? So he is going to be considered, we're going to make him our relay in the next lab. He's going to be the relay agent. Basically, he acts like a middleman between you, the client, this guy right here, and the server, this guy right here. He just acts like a middleman. So since he sits between two different networks, he is going to take those DHCP services requests and offers and all of that and send it off to the server. And then when he gets that information back to the server, from the server, he's going to send it back to the client. So he just acts like a middleman. That's all he do. So that's what DHCP relays do. And that's what we're going to do in the next lab. The topology is slightly different. And am I going to use, you know what, I'm trying to think if I'm going to use Packet Tracer or GNS3 or even G. Y'all pick. Y'all go ahead and pick for the next lab. I'm not going to use my hardware for the next lab. But anyways, these routers look like they're booted up. So we're going to do that lab one more time. So I guess this is good practice. Y'all with me so far? You got any questions or anything like that? So task 1, we're going to do that lab over again. But he says, don't exclude the IP address. So we can create the pool, but we're going to create the wrong network range. All right, so let's go ahead and create the pool. Go to global config mode. Actually, we need to configure this IP address first. Show IP interface brief. What am I working with here? So it's admin down right now, right? This guy right here, he's admin down. Right, he is down. So let's go ahead and turn him up and then give him an IP address. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Interface F800. His IP address is 192. Let me know if I'm going too fast here, because like I said, I'm just running through this real quick since he's making us do this over again. .255.255.0. And we're going to create that DHCP pool. So IP DHCP pool. Pool. We said is going to be pool -1. He said you have Packet Tracer. You want me to use Packet Tracer? If y'all want me to use Packet Tracer, that's cool. I'll use Packet Tracer for the next lab. Makes it a bit easier to explain and stuff like that anyway. Network. The network address is going to be 192.168.10.0. The subnet mask of /24, which is .0, just like that. But they said, yeah, we'll leave it as is. .0, just like that, right? We'll create everything correct. And then don't exclude the IP address is the first thing they want us to do. So let's go ahead and put the DNS server. DNS server is 4.2, 222, just like that. Y'all with me so far? Anybody any questions? Default router was 192.168.10.1. Are you assigning IP address on router 2? Oh, good question, Juan. Good catch. I'm supposed to do all this stuff on router 1. I'm glad you said that. Let's shit. Let's get rid of that pool real quick. Jesus, what am I doing here? Interface GI00 FA00. Jeez, see, now I'm prolonging this here, man. No IP address. And then let's get rid of that pool too. No IP DHCP pool. It is pool -1. I'm glad you asked that question because I was supposed to do that on this guy right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Interface GI00. Oops. FA00. Good catch, man. Good catch, though. See, this is why I have you guys with me. IP address 192.168.10.1. I know that, you know, I create this channel to kind of like teach people and stuff like that, but at the same time, I'm not prone to I'm prone to mistakes, right? So, and I can admit that, and I am glad you guys are here to catch stuff like this too. So that was the IP address right there. And then let's go ahead and create that pool. IP DHCP pool. He did say he wanted us to break it and create some of this stuff wrong, right? But he didn't want us to break it that much, right? The pool name was pool. I'm glad you were paying attention though. See, I tried to do that on purpose. Yeah. I tried to do that on purpose, Juan. Pool number 1. The network address was 192.168.10.0, 224 or 255.0. The DNS server was 4222, just like that. Good catch though, man. The default default router, 192.168.10.1. I hope you guys are with me so far. I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty much got this. This is all about repetition here, right? Even though he made us break it and do it over again, now you guys should. I know I did it twice last time because I made a mistake on the last stream and had to do that over again, right? But that's good though because it's all about repetition, man. Practice, man. I used to watch this guy named what's his name? Tony E. He goes by the handle Show IP Interface Brief. He has a YouTube channel as well, and he used to say repetition is the something mastery or whatever. I can't even remember. But he used to do 100 days of labbing and stuff like that. He used to do labs just like this, but he was studying for the CCIE exam, which is like the hardest, probably one of the hardest, network exams in the IT community and stuff. And he was all about repetition, man. So if you guys are tuned in here, this will definitely help you out if you're following along and stuff like that. So they said don't exclude the IP address on this one. We did the default gateway. Don't exclude the IP address, right? Let's go ahead and no shut that interface. Interface FA00, and no shut that bad boy. Right. Show our work, show IP interface brief, and show IP DHCP pool. Right, we created that host name, which is pool 1, 10.1. We've got one subnet, and we did not exclude that IP address, right? So let's go to router 2 and ask for a DHCP server from that pool, right? Let's go ahead and do that. Let me make sure that I didn't fudge this router up. Brief. Y'all with me so far? Anybody any questions or anything like that? Don't be afraid to ask any questions. I don't care how simple it is, man. Interface FA00. Y'all, as y'all can see, I'm not perfect. I learn stuff all the time. So we do IP address, and then to request an DHCP address, we just type in DHCP. I didn't learn this till like later on, like towards my CCNA and stuff like that. I thought you always had to put the IP address. I didn't know you could request a DHCP address that way on the router or a switch or whatever. So IP DHCP address. We will wait for a bit. We should have done a debug on this side, so that way we can see the DORA requests going back and forth. That's what I should have done. We're not getting an IP address, most likely because that interface is down. So let's go ahead and bring that up, right? No shut. Show IP interface brief. And it's up. It's set to manual. Unassigned. Did we get an IP address just yet? Waiting. There we go. IP address assigned, and look what we got. We got a 10.2. Isn't that interesting? So even though we didn't exclude the 10.1 address, we still got 10.2. So let's check that out. See, we got 10.2. Let's go back to router 1. Do we have any, I don't believe we got, let's show run real quick. I hope I didn't save that information. I didn't exclude that IP address. Nope, I didn't exclude it, but we still got it anyway. Probably because we assigned that IP address already. So even though we did not exclude the IP address, it still gave him 10.2. So that's one way to not get a duplicate IP address. So yeah, that was it. That's what's up. We could have made this one 10.5 or something else and see if he would have got 10.1. But they ain't asked for all that. So miss off the IP DHCP address command on the host. That's what they wanted us to do. So let's go back on the host and remove this command right here. Let's go ahead and remove that and see what happens, right? So we'll go to global config mode, interface FA. Remember, he's just getting us to break this lab real quick. No IP DHCP, no IP address to DHCP. I guess it's because it did not exclude the address. We did not exclude the address, so if that was the case, then he should have gotten 10.1, but he already got 10.1. Usually, remember, when you have a DHCP pool, it's going to give the first available IP address in the pool. Well, the first IP address available in the pool is 10.1, but who got it? This guy right here. This guy got 10.1, so that's why he got 10.2. He got 10.2. So they said remove that command and see what happens, right? We remove the command. Show IP interface brief. IP interface brief. And it's unassigned right now. So we left off that command. Configure the wrong network range is what he said. So let's go back on the pool, and we wanna configure the wrong network range right here. So we wanna fudge that up. Remember, they just getting us to break it real quick to see what happens, So let's go ahead and do that. Configure terminal. We're gonna go to IP DHCP pool. Name is pool -1, just like that. Y'all with me so far? And they say we wanted the network address of, let's try something else. Let's try 155.55.0 subnet. And we got to put the subnet mask, right? No, we don't. So let's see what happens there. And let's do a show IP DHCP pool. All right. So we configured the wrong. Now we've got this many addresses in the pool. That's crazy, right? And let's have him request an IP address from that pool, which is now the 155 subnet, right? So let's go ahead and try that real quick. I like to try the little third grade drawings over here, annotations and stuff. So let's go ahead and go to router 2, see what happens when we configure or request an IP address now. IP interface FA00, IP DHCP pool, IP address DHCP, request a DHCP address, and then after that he wants us to configure the wrong network range, but with the correct network range, but with the subnet, the ending in .252. So we're requesting some information here. What is going on here? It don't look like anything's gonna happen. Most likely because he is not in that. Let's see. Is he getting an IP address? It don't look like it. Most likely because he is not in this network. If we do a show IP route real quick, show IP routes, we don't even have any routing information because nothing is turned up. Nothing has an IP address. So we can't even get an IP address because we configured the wrong network range. So that's what happens when you do that. Let's configure the correct network range, but with the subnet mask of 255.255.252. So you only have 2 host addresses. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna fix this range to the correct range, which was the 10.0 subnet. So network 192.168.10.0 subnet. And then let's see what happens. Oh, no, we wanted the subnet mask too. Subnet mask 255.255.255. 252. Did he get? We don't want that just yet. So let's do 252 just like that. Subnet overlaps with an existing subnet in this pool. Interesting. So we probably got 2 pools in here or something like that. Let's see. Let's do a show run real quick. Did we get rid of that other information? Show runt. Where's that pool at? Where are you at? Where you at, man? There go that pool. Pool 1. We didn't create any other pools, so that's rather interesting. That is the that is the error we get. Subnet overlaps with an existing subnet in this pool. So let's get rid of that network real quick. Let's get rid of that. Let's just do no network. No network. Let's get rid of that. No, you can't do that. The network number is 192.168.10.0. Let's get rid of that, and then put the correct, not the correct, but the wrong, just that right there. the correct subnet, but the wrong subnet mask. Let's see what happens then. That's what we wanted to see. Now we only got 2 available IP addresses, and we just got an assigned address, which was 10.2. So it gave us the same address. There was only 2 available in that subnet range anyway, so it really didn't matter. Show clock real quick. Let me see. Did that just happen? Yeah, it just happened, it looked like. But, yeah, so now we can do a show IP DHCP binding and see what we got. I mean, he got us to break it, but it ain't really do much. So, show IP DHCP binding. Interesting. We don't have any information on the binding. On the bindings. Didn't he get an IP address? Let's see. Show IP interface brief. Well, he did get an IP address, but why is it not showing in our bindings? That's rather interesting. Is that because we put the wrong information on the, let's see, show IP DHCP pool? We got 2 addresses leased. Who's got that second address? That's rather interesting, isn't it? Oh, did we just get a conflict somewhere? No, we didn't. I thought I saw a conflict. That's rather interesting. But we got 2 total addresses. Never mind. That's not a lease address. That's total addresses. We didn't lease anything yet. And the range is 10.1 to 10.2. That is what happened. So we couldn't give any IP address. But it says here he did get an IP address. So that's what's weird. That's what's weird. But yeah, so when we give a /252 subnet, or /252, a /30 subnet, there's going to be only 2 usable IP addresses there, which is, it should be 10.1 and 10.2, right? That's what that range tells us right there. We gave away 10.2, but it doesn't say that it was leased. That's what's weird. So, I don't know. I guess that's what he wanted us to see. It's 2 addresses, and it says 0 leased. However, he did get an IP address. Let's do that again. Let's request it again, though. Let's renew that lease there. Configure terminal. So we're gonna say interface FA00 real quick, and then we'll move on to the next lab. All right. No IP address DHCP. Right. We're gonna remove that address there. And then we're gonna request it again. So let's take a look at the pool now. So we still got 1 address in the range. It's gonna be between 10.1 and 10.2 because we put the wrong subnet mask. And let's go to router 2. He said configure the interface to get IP address from DHCP in router 1. Configure the interface to get IP address from DHCP in router 1. Well, router 1, we already statically configured an IP address right here. We already statically configured one, which was 10.1. what they wanted us to do was have this guy as a client, this guy as a server. We have a /30 subnet. They wanted us to create a make this same subnet, 10.0 subnet, but /30 subnet mask, which will only give us 2 available IP addresses, and then hand that out to this guy right here. That's what they wanted in the lab. We know how to make it work. They having us break the lab in the book. So let's go ahead and have him request it again real quick, and then we'll move on, man. IP address DHCP. Well, let's make sure we ain't got nothing yet, right? Show IP interface brief. And we'll see we don't have an IP address on there, right? We'll turn to DHCP and move the hell on, because this lab, I didn't really like the way he designed this one. I see what he was trying to, show us what happens when things break or whatever. But he could have done it a different way. IP address DHCP. If I could type DHCP, we're gonna request a DHCP address. Let's wait here real quick and get out of here. And there we go. We got an address assigned. It was 10.2 with the subnet mask of /30, even though it was supposed to be /24, and that's what we're doing here. Total addresses, and now we got a leased address, and it was 10.2. So I had to renew and release. I think that first time when I fixed it was when I put the correct subnet range, and then that's when it gave me this whole somebody already got that address, man. And by that time I already handed out an address. This right here. I think that's what happened there. So when I created that, when I tried to create the wrong subnet mask right here, I already handed out an IP address by that time. So that's why I didn't show up in the bindings. Because now, if we do look at the bindings now, show IP DHCP bindings, we'll see we have that IP address binded to the MAC address of the other device, which I have yet to figure out what those guys are, man. But we obviously know that it's going to be him because he's the only client on the network there. So, but you see what I'm saying? Appreciate you for trying to point that out, though, Abdul Baset. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, they're just trying to get us to break the lab here. So next lab is lab number 70, DHCP relay. Let's go ahead and launch up Packet Tracer and do that lab and get that out of the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this guy right here. We'll start at about 9 o'clock, right? So we'll give y'all some time, a break. Y'all want to take a bathroom break or whatever? I guess I can turn off my hardware in case that was too loud for y'all. Turn off these routers. Yes, I actually have. For y'all that think I'm crazy or don't think I'm crazy, I told y'all I'm gonna do a lab one day. I mean, a video of my actual hardware rack. I have a 28U rack in my bedroom. Yes, 28U. 4 switches, 3750s, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 routers. And then I have 4 more, like these little, like smaller Cisco routers that this guy gave away for free to me. And so that's what? What I said, 12? Damn, I do got 12? Oh yeah, I guess I do got 12. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, plus the 4 right there. So I guess I got 16 routers altogether. But yeah, that's right. I use one of them as my terminal server, so that's why I don't really count that one. But yeah, I got 16 routers. That's crazy, man. 4 more, and I can have a full mock CCIE lab, right? But y'all don't need all of that, man. Y'all know you don't need all of that. I'm just a hardware fanatic, so you know, you really don't need all of that. The switches might be useful though, but you don't need 20 routers like me, man. I'm just a oh, look at that. Packet Tracer decided to crash on me today. Does that mean I need to use something else? Let's try that one more time, because I'm not gonna cable this up. Nor am I gonna reboot. Come on, work with me. Work with me, Packet Tracer. There we go. Go ahead and log in here. Come on, man. Stupid thing, man. Oops. Let's see what we got. What we got going on in the world today, y'all. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Costa Rica once again in the building. We got Dave W in the building, the whole Fat Finger squad. Go, y'all run me with that like button if y'all like what y'all see so far, man. For you guys that are just tuning in, we typically live from this book right here, 101 Labs Cisco CCNA version 4. You can copy this from 101labs.net. It's authored by Paul Browning or Fried Jafar. You can also get a copy of this from a link description box below. You could also join us on the Discord server. If I make any changes to the schedule, which typically I stream Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If I make any changes to the schedule, I will post it in the Discord server. But here is the link to that Discord server. We'll start in just a minute here. For those of y'all that are just getting your coffee or whatever, I know it's a little too late for coffee. Let's see. What we got going on over here today? Let's see, Kodak Black pleads guilty in his sexual assault case, and he got probation. Interesting. Kodak Black, man. Yeah, that's a misguided kid, but he was a really talented kid, man. It's a shame that he got discharged or whatever. I don't know if he was targeted or what, but it sucks for him. But I guess that's kind of a win because at least he ain't got to go to jail. But that's a sexual assault case. Those are pretty serious, man. You get labeled as a sex offender. There's a lot of things you can't do. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with this lab. If you got the book, it is lab number 70, page number 317. Go ahead and drag and drop two routers, one switch, and a PC. So router 1 and router 2, I am going to use, what am I going to use? I'm going to use the 1941 routers. I like those routers right there. I'm going to make him router 1 and the other guy router 2. Just like that, and then delete that guy right there. Boop. Oops. No. Delete that guy. And I want a switch. It's going to be just like that right there. Multi-layer switch. I want some serial interfaces on these bad boys. So, where are my serial interfaces? That's not it. That's the SFP. Got the serial interface right there. That's the H-weight. I believe that guy right there is the serial interface that I'm looking for. But you got to turn this guy off to do that. So, because that's what they wanted. They wanted some serial interfaces. I'm going to put it in the slot 0. Turn that guy off. That's not 1941. Which one is this? Man, come on, man. That's the one I wanted. Turn him off. Where's the off button, man? There you go, right there. Drag and drop that guy. Let me get rid of him. Because I wanted a 19. What I said? A 1941? Is that what I said? It's the 2911. Now he gonna be router 3. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's who I wanted. No, that is not the 1941. This guy is the, what is he? Device must be powered on. Power him on. CLI. He is a, what are you, buddy? So yeah, two switches, two routers, a switch, and a PC. So y'all go ahead, and this is the 2901. That's the one I want. I want that one. I just want that one. Y'all don't mind me. It ain't gotta be exactly like mine, but I'm just picking that one. This guy is, let's go ahead with the serial interface. You don't necessarily have to put on serial interfaces, but I like to follow the lab to a T. Let's configure him to be router 2 rather. Router 2. And cable them up with the serial interface, which is that right there. That's the serial. Boop. Serial. Which one's the serial? That's the serial interface right there. Boom. Serial. Right, and then we want FA00 to FA02 port. So, y'all with me so far? Anybody got any questions or anything like that? What's lab number? Yes, lab number 70, DHCP relay, page number 317. What's going on, Pete? Pete, you must be getting off from work because every time you tune in right around 9 o'clock when I'm about to finish the stream. But today I'm just going to be knocking out 2 labs, and I might do that for the next couple labs. Next couple streams. Try to knock out like 2 labs out of the way, man, because I'm dragging this book right here, and I want to get onto my CCNP studies, man. So this is serial DTE. That's a DCE. So no, I don't want the serial interface. I just want a straight through cable. And I want to go from gig 00 to gig 101. I guess we'll do that. And then we're going to drag and drop a PC to that guy right there. Boop. And we'll cable him up from there to there. Right, y'all with me so far? Power these bad boys on. I think he is powered on, right? He is powered on. Nope, he's not. Go ahead and power him on. That is one thing I do like about Packet Tracer is that it does simulate, real. So again, y'all remember what DHCP relay is, right? So similar to that last lab, right? If you notice, so we have this guy. He's going to be a client. He obviously needs an IP address. So he's probably going to ask for an IP address, right? Send that discover message first. Be like, hey, I need a IP address. This guy's going to be like, well, I'm not a DHCP server, but I do know somebody who is. He's on a different network, actually. And he's going to send that message off to this guy right here and be like, hey, look. Can y'all see? Oh, yeah. So he's going to be like, hey, look. I got my man PC0. He need an IP address, man. You got a DHCP pool? Router 2 is going to be like, yes, I do have a DHCP pool. And here's the IP address. Here's the DNS server. Here's all that information. You're going to hand it off to router 1. Router 1 going to hand that off to PC0. Again, he is going to be a DHCP relay. That's what a relay does. He just act like a middleman between the 2 devices, the router and the PC. And the reason why we do that is because this is most likely going to be in a different network. If you are not in that network, guess what? You can't reach a DHCP server, but the relay can. The DHCP relay can. That's the point of it. Bruh, it's the next day here at 11 a.m. Oh, damn, my bad, man. I forgot, man. What? I don't even know what. Shout out to Pete, man, for tuning in. 11 in the morning over there, but it's 8 p.m. over here. Well, 9 p.m. now, Eastern Standard Time. What country you tuned in from, man? I know you be tuning in. Oh, you in Australia, right? Jesus Christ! Oh my goodness, man. That's right. Not only is he in a different time zone, but they paying like $500 for the CCNA exam over there, man. That's crazy, man. But shout out to you for Pete. You got a lot of adversity over there, man. You got the wrong time to watch the network, bro. You got to pay so much money just to take this damn exam. But it's all good, though, man. Appreciate you for tuning in. Again, lab number 70, DHCP relay. Configure Cisco iOS routers to forward DHCP requests to remote DHCP servers is a fundamental skill. In some cases, DHCP servers are located at a central location, such as the headquarters. And DHCP requests from local clients need to be forwarded on to those servers. So, again, this guy might be located in Australia. However, the DHCP server is over here in the United States. So guess what? He got to send a DHCP request, and this guy is going to act like a relay and send that request off over to this guy, and then and vice versa. Router 1 just act like a middleman. That's all he do, handing off those DHCP requests and stuff like that, right? By default, Cisco routers do not forward broadcast traffic. Therefore, because DHCP requests are broadcast packets, configuration is required on the Cisco iOS devices to forward these broadcasts to the servers. That's what the relay does. This guy right here, he's just going to forward those information to the server, right? As a Cisco engineer, as well as a blah, 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 blah. Let's go ahead and get this done, right? In order to test DHCP functionality, you will need a workstation DHCP client configured to receive DHCP IP addressing information via DHCP. If you do not have a DHCP client, feel free to substitute it with a DHCP router, which is what we're going to do here. I could have done it using my hardware with an actual, yes, I do have a mini laptop that I can test it with and stuff like that, but y'all not going to be able to see the pings and stuff like that. So that's why I say I'm going to go ahead and use Packet Tracer. So it is 3 a.m. in Egypt. Man, shout out to you guys, man, for tuning in, man. 3 a.m. in Egypt, man, and you tuned in, man. Man, you should be asleep right now, but, man, I appreciate you for tuning in, man. So we got Abdel Bassett, who he is all the way in Egypt, and he is going to be requesting the DHCP address way over there. So we'll go ahead and simulate that for him. But yeah, man, shout out to you guys, man. Fat Finger Squad in the building. Task 1, configure the host names on router 1, router 2, and switch 1. So we got to get these guys some host names, right? So let's go ahead and power router 1. And y'all know how to do that, right? We're going to say no. And then enable global config mode. Give him the host name of R2. He is probably going to be the server. Right, he is R2. Yeah, he is R2. That guy is R2. This guy's going to be R1. Let's go to global config mode. And we're going to say host name R1. And this guy is most likely powered on. And we're going to name him. No, he's not powered on. We need to give him, we need to power him on. Slide into power supply. Floop. Turn him on. That's crazy though, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Y'all remove that like button if y'all see what y'all like, what y'all see so far. Again, we're on lab number 70, page number 317. There's 100. The book is called 101 Labs, but there's actually about 100. There's 101 labs, but there's about, I say, 15 to 20 bonus labs at the end. So like challenge labs and stuff like that. Once we knock this book out, we're gonna go to the CCNP version of this book. I'm also going to start creating a study schedule and actually study like hardcore for the CCNP exam. And I want you guys to come along with me because we already together knocked out this CCNA book. If you haven't been tuning in, go back to the past streams and you'll be able to catch up and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm bringing everybody along with me on my study journey. And that's what we about over here. So also when we get to the CCNP level, not only we're going to get that book, I'm also going to probably get they have the Cisco's Network Academy book for CCNP, labbing book. There's also, I'm probably going to get the Boston NetSim exam simulator. So I keep hearing good words about that. So let's go ahead and I'll implement that into my studies as well. So configure terminal, host name, he is SW1, not SWB. And task number 1. That was easy enough, right? Do the host names. Task number 2. Configure router 1 to provide clocking information. Does the clock rate command work on packet tracer? I'm pretty sure it does. So we're going to have him configure clock rate information and send it to router 2 at a speed of 256 kilobits per second. So we're going to go to that interface. Where's the labels here? Where the labels at? Labels, labels, labels. How do we get labels again? I forgot. You got to go to options. Preferences, view interface. Where's the interface labels? It's here somewhere. Animation, telephony, cable lengths, device, logical. 256. How slow? Yeah, I know, crazy, man. If we play sound, it'll probably go beep, right? How can we see the, Jesus, man, I'm having a brain fart. I haven't used, not device name labels, not the device model labels, but I want to see the interfaces, man. Port labels, that's what I wanted to see. Port labels, that's what I wanted to see. What am I doing here? So he's going to have clocking information. We're going to go to interface serial 000. I guess I haven't used packet tracer in a minute, right? Clock rate command at 256 kilobits per second. Unknown clock rate. What's the next nearest one? 256 kilobits per second. How do you write that? I guess I'm gonna have to Google that one. All right, because I can't convert bits into whatever. Let's see. Can you just do? You can't just do 256 like that. You got to actually clock rate and then 256. It's 256K kilobits per second. That's not it right there. Oh, what's the clock rate, man? Come on, man. Come on, Vlad. Let's see. 256 kilobits per second to bits is actually, it's just 256? No, it's not, man. No, it's not, man. Come on, man. They wanted it bits, though, don't they? It says here, he said, I'm old enough to have used a 2400 baud modem. Wow, DOS version 3, BSS. Wow, man. That's old school right there, man. So I heard Boston NetSim is the closest you can get to the real exam. Also, they've been around for a very long time. Good for you. Good luck, man. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, so I'm going to get the Boston NetSim. I've been using it, you know, but I didn't really use it to pass exam. Like, I took, this was like before, like, I studied for I got a CCNA in about 2019. I want to say I got it. And that was before I really started discovering Boston NetSim and stuff like that. But I've been hearing a lot of good words for it, and I'm definitely going to get it for the for the CCNP exam. You said to use the question mark. I did use the question mark, man. I used it right here. They want something, the book says they wanted 256 kilobits per second. Well, I typed in 256,000 just like that, but I thought that was 256 kilobits per second. What we got to do is probably convert that number to bits per second. I tried Googling it, and I'm not having good luck here. So unless anybody knows the exact command that I need to type to get 256 kilobits per second. Let's see. How do we just even write that out? Just 256 kilobits. I thought it was that right there. 256,000. Well, I tried that, right? Clock rate, 256,000. It don't know it. It says unknown clock rate. So I think it has to be a multiple of something. I can't. There's only see, the real routers actually tell you which ones are accepted as an acceptable clock rate. So we do clock rate just like that. There they go right there. That's what I was looking for. I didn't use a fully. I didn't use a question mark fully. Thanks, Juan. So it was the nearest clock rate would be, I guess, that right there. That's what we got to do. Copy. Paste. We said 256 though. So what happens if we do yeah, let's just do 250,000. Let's just do that. Paste that. Boom. So we're gonna use that for now. It don't even matter because the book, they just like throwing that in there. So we'll do a show controllers serial 000 to verify our work. Right? We always want to verify our work and stuff like that. And we'll see this is the DCE side, and that is our clock rate. Even though they asked for 256,000 in the book. But it is what it is. So, let's go ahead and no-shut that interface. All right, go ahead and no-shut that bad boy. Global config mode. Interface serial 000. No-shut. Change state to down. So, it should come up as soon as we bring that side up. So, let's go to router 2. Configure that interface. That interface is supposed to be... oh, we didn't even do the IP address on that guy. We need to do that IP address right there. Right? Let's go back to router 1. Let's go back to router 1. This guy right here. And that interface IP address is 172.16.1.1. 255. Y'all want me to do the labeling? Just in case you ain't got a book. Y'all want me to put some labels up here? Let me know if y'all want me to put some labels in case you need to catch up or if you ain't got the book, man. But don't be like one of them college freshman students that be trying to go through the whole skim by the whole semester without getting the book. So I might give y'all some leeway right now. But when we get to the CCNP exam, the CCNP book, I'm not gonna be this lenient here. So that is the IP address there. We did a no shut. Let's go to that guy right there and configure that IP address. That interface is serial 000. And his IP address is 172.16.1.2. Southern mask of /30. 5.252. I did 252 on the other side. Let me make sure. No shut. Let me make sure I did 252 on this side. No, I did 252. I did 255. So I put the wrong IP address there. Let's do that. This is 252 right here. Boom. That's what that's supposed to be. Show IP interface brief. He said use the question. Yeah, appreciate that one. Again, you've been helping me out, man. Appreciate your help because yeah, I should have used the question mark, but I guess I must have pressed it too early. Nah, you did 0. Okay, appreciate that, Pete. Thank you. I'm just trying to see if you guys are paying attention here. Yeah, just want to make sure you guys can see and learn from me. Yeah, the NetworkBruh. Let's see, he's up. He got the correct IP address right there. Let's verify the subnet mask though. Let's verify that though, right? Show IP, show interface, serial 000. And it is /30 on that side, and I believe it was /30 on the other side. So 16.1.1, and we got some green lights there. So thank you for this live, bro. Man, appreciate that, Juan. Show IP interface serial 000. I gotta start going back to the even G, man, so I can get Indrit back online on here, man. He hasn't been watching our streams probably because I haven't been using GNS3, man. But I haven't heard from that guy. He's been pretty quiet. So we got to go with that interface right there, gig 00. That interface is the 10.00 network. So notice, let me go ahead and do some labels here. So that way we'll place a note here. This is the 172.16.1.0 network, right? That is that network. This network right here is the 10.1.1.0 network. So guess what? Those two are two different networks. And that's what they're trying to demonstrate here. When you are on a different network, this guy right here is on a different network. Let me bring him back from Egypt. And he is on a different network. So when he requests an IP address, that guy is not going to be the DHCP server. He is going to be our DHCP server. But guess what? He is on a different network. So that's why we need this guy who is going to be a relay, right? So Andrit is pissed, man. I guess so, man. He hadn't been on these streams lately, man. Dude went like, we spent the whole Sunday and he was showing me, this was off stream and stuff like that. He was hitting me up on the Discord server and be like, hey, look, man, this is how you got to set it up. You know, he even logged, you know, he showed me what to do, log it, like launch the Linux VM and do all that sort of stuff. I used it for about 2 streams and I was like, let me go back to DNS3. And plus I got my hardware. I started actually, I turned this up live. So been using that equipment. But anyways, task number 2. Oh, we did the IP addressing. We just didn't do it for that interface right there, gig 00. So let's go back to that interface right there. So global config mode interface. Let me knock this out. Gig 00. His IP address is 10.111. Subnet mask of /24. 0, just like that. No shut. That turns it green. So now we got some red lights here, or green lights. That's a good sign. This guy right here is blocking because of spanning tree. So it should turn green very shortly. Task 3. We only got 6 tasks here, right? And then we're going to wrap it up. Task 3. Configure VLAN 300. Name DHCP VLAN on switch 1. So we're going to go to switch 1. We haven't done any configuring on this guy right here. Let's look at the spanning tree states there. All right, show span. Let's see right here. See, now it's learning, right? That's pretty cool right there, right? We see it. We're catching it right here in the learning state here. Do it again. It's still in the learning state. Forwarding now. Now it's forwarding, and as you can see, it's green, right? Isn't that pretty cool? That's what I like about Packet Tracer. It does simulate the lights at least, right? So we got to configure VLAN 300. Go to global config mode. VLAN 300. And we said the name is going to be DHCP_VLAN. And assign FA02 and 03 to that VLAN, right? So, well, in my case, it's going to be 01 and 02. So this port and that port needs to be in VLAN 300 that we just created, right? So let's go ahead and interface range and GI. Let me let y'all see this right here. I hope y'all can see this. Y'all let me know if y'all can see. Let me move all this stuff over here so y'all can see it better. Right, so that's that network. That's that network. Boom. Y'all with me so far? So the switch, we need to put that interface GI 101 through 2. We're gonna put switch port access VLAN 300, right? So we confirm that with show VLAN brief. We'll see those ports are in VLAN 300. And ensure that the ports immediately transition to the spanning tree forwarding state. Y'all remember how to do that, right? Just like yesterday's lab. We want to put those ports in port fast mode, right? So that we immediately forward traffic. Notice they're blocking right now, right? Because we put them in specific VLANs there. So let's do spanning tree port fast. That puts those, remember just like that warning that we got yesterday. So we put those ports in port fast mode, and we verify that with remember we had a hard time figuring out how we can determine whether an interface is in port fast mode or not without running a show run command rather. So we do a show, I think it was interface was it show spanning? No, it was show interface, and then interface GI 101, and then the port fast. No, see, you can't even do it on this. This is Packet Tracer. They ain't gonna have that. See, typically you could put in, I believe you could put in port fast or detail after this. I believe, I can't even remember, but you can't put in switch port. Switch port's not gonna give it to you. Switch port's not gonna give it to you. I think spanning show span detail. Show spanning detail is going to tell us that, right? Designated port. No, it's not. That's not going to tell us anything about port fast here. So no. Figured whole time. Spanning tree is a really deep subject, man. But anyways, let's move on. Well, we know that those are going to be in port fast. So task number 4, when we got 6 tasks, right? Configure router 2, this guy right here, boop, as a DHCP server. That guy right there. With the following settings. Pool name is remote-DHCP pool, all caps. The network name, we're going to configure the DNS server, the Win server, which I don't believe is supported by Packet Tracer, the default gateway, and the lease time, 8 days. I don't think that's supported by Packet Tracer either, but we'll see. We'll go to Global Router 2, go to Global Config Mode. We're going to say IP DHCP pool. The name of the pool is DHCP remote-DHCP pool. The network is the 10.11.0 network, right? So we're going to be handing out IP addresses in this subnet right here, even though we are in a different subnet, right? Notice that, right? Network is 10.110/24, so 255.255.0, .0, like that. Y'all with me so far? He said, can you explain this, please? Okay, so he said, oh yeah, I forgot. How did last night go with the rack replacement? Good question, Dave. The rack replacement went pretty well, man. So I was able to, set my notification, let everybody know, hey, I'm going to be sending doing a chassis replacement. It was nobody on campus anyway. It was like 10 o'clock at night, but there was actually the IMT director responded. Plus my supervisor, they kind of like gave the thumbs up, kind of like a like button in Slack or whatever. And let us know, I let them know that I'm going to be doing this change. There's going to be wireless is going to be down, PC and phone's going to be down, but guess what? Nobody's on campus. That's why they had me do it that late. So I was able to knock that out, and I had a screwdriver. If you know anything about about this switch, it's a Catalyst 4500 series chassis. So it's really heavy, but you got to take out the power supplies, take out the line cards, all that stuff, right? And I had to swap out and make sure that it booted up just fine, and it booted up just fine. However, it still had the underlying problem, which I don't want to give too much information, but it still have the underlying problem that we originally asked for the replacement for. So not only did we replace multiple parts of this chassis, but we replaced the whole chassis, and we're still getting this problem. So at this point, we don't think it is a hardware issue. So, but yeah, we basically have to contact the vendor again and see if we got to do some more work. So basically, I was able to get network connectivity going and stuff like that, but we still have some issues with it. So, but yeah, it did go well. Abdel Bassett, he said, configure router 1 to provide clocking information for router 2 at a speed of 256 kilobits per second. That's right. It is an old link like they put in the book. Usually you just use fast Ethernet. Yeah. If you have the book, they are early labs about serial DCE, DTE. Yes, exactly. So he explained it to you. So Abdel Bassett, basically when you provide clocking to another device, so like in this case, right, you notice there's a clock right there, right? See, there's a clock right there. The device that is going to provide clocking to the other device, that device is typically your ISP. So when you're home, your ISP, your home internet service provider, is providing clocking to you, right? So that's why you don't really see this in production or something like that if you're on a customer site, because you're not an internet service provider unless you actually work for like Spectrum or Comcast or AT&T or something like that. You're not going to provide, but they just do that so that you can know about clocking and know the concept of it. That's what clocking is about. Usually the ISP provides clocking to its customers. You ain't got to set all that up, but this is just something that you kind of learn. And plus, it's usually done on serial links. So that is not really, you'll still see it in production today. But again, unless you work for an ISP, you typically don't have to worry about clocking and stuff like that. So, but yeah, good question. And Pete, thank you for answering that question for him. So let's go ahead and move on to creating that DHCP pool on router 2. So we go to router 2. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. I'm about an hour and a half into this live stream here. So thank you for rocking with me. Y'all run me with that like button, man. DNS server is 192.168.1.254. The Dns Server, which is NetBIOS, that's not supported by Packet Tracer, so we can't configure that command. The default gateway, which is default router, is 10.1.1.1. And also the lease time is 8 days. How we do that? We just do lease, and that is not supported by Packet Tracer, as you can see. Typically, you would just type in the word lease, and you should be able to type in create the lease. But Packet Tracer, again, is a limited application, so it doesn't support that command. That is why I like using hardware. But you could also do this on DNS3 or even G. So don't let me, convince you guys to buying all this hardware like me, man. You could use DNS3 or even G. You just gotta have a pretty much powerful computer or a beefy PC or server to run it, to run a bunch of nodes and stuff like that. But I just like tinkering with hardware because I just been collecting it over the years and stuff like that, and I don't want to let it go to waste. So we can't do the lease time. Let's confirm our pool. Go back to here and take a look at our pool. Show IP DHCP pool, and not the pool we're gonna jump into over the summer or one I'm gonna build for my future home. My daughter says she wants a tree house next time we get a house, man. Next time I get a house, she wants a playground or a tree house, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this girl wants. But that's my little princess, so I'll try to make it work some way. So this is the pool we created. It is this is the IP address range. We have none leased so far, none excluded. This is the total addresses we can hand out. So remember, this guy has the pool. He is the relay agent that sits between two networks, right? The 172 and 10.0 network. And he is going to act like the middleman between the router and the client who is going to be asking for an IP address. Y'all with me so far? Anybody have questions? Task number 4 also said we need to add a static route to the 10 network on router 2 because it was otherwise dropped any traffic not listed in its router table. So let's go to router 2, create a static route to this network right here, to the 10 network. He don't know anything about this network right here. So router 2, let me put it like this so y'all can see. We'll say, since we say we know he the middleman, we'll put him actually in the middle, right? Just like this right here. Boop, 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 boop. So router 2, he know about this local area network right here, the 172.1.0 network. But he don't know about this network right here. He don't know about this network because it is a remote network. So we need to create a static route to get to that network right here. That way we can communicate with anything that's in here. So let's go to router 2, and we're gonna say, let's create a static route to the 10 network, which is the 10.0 network, right? Or 10.1.1 network. So configure terminal. When we say IP route, we could just create a default route and just do quad 0 just like that. I like doing that. Or we do this. To get to the 10.1.1. We'll make a more specific route. 10.1.1.0 network, subnet mask of /24. So 1.0 network /24. Take the next hop of 172.16.1.2. I believe that is, right? That guy's 2.2? No, he is .1. So take the next hop of 172.16.1.1. So 172.16.1.1. Just like that. That is our static route to take us to the 10.1.1.0 network. We'll verify our work with show IP route. And we see we have a static route to the 10.1.1.0 network, just like this right here. So now can we ping 10.1.1 10.1.1.1. Let's see if we can ping that IP address right there, that router right, I mean that interface right there. So this guy, we're gonna see if we can ping that address right there, right? Let's go ahead and do that. Basic connectivity. Pray to the network gods, 10.1.1.1, and we got a reply. Good to go. So we got some connectivity there. Task 5, configure router 1 to forward DHCP requests. This is what we came to do. DHCP requests. Configure router 1 to forward DHCP requests from DHCP clients connected to FA00 to router 2. So this guy, since he's going to be our middleman and he's going to be our, notice how he dancing right there. He is doing a cabbage patch and also going to be our DHCP relay. Well, where do we put that information? The command is actually, I believe, is DHCP relay. I can't even remember. I gotta, and in case you don't know, or if you can't remember, you can go to the solution guide, which is right behind that lab, right? But I'm not going to do that right now because I think I remember this one. And we're going to go to router 1. What you need to do is when you know about this command, you put it on the interface level, right? So you want to put that, what interface? Well, this guy's got 2 interfaces, right? He got an interface right here. He also has an interface right here, gig 00 and serial 000, right? Where do we put that command? Well, you want to put that DHCP relay command on where you're going to be receiving those requests from. So where are we going to be receiving requests from? Well, we got a client over here. So most likely we'll receive a request through that interface right there, right? And then they're going to be exiting out of that interface right there. So let's go ahead and put the interface, that relay command there. Now, I just need to recollect what that command was. So we're going to go to interface GI00, just like that. And it's IP, I believe it's DHCP relay. DHCP. No, it's not. IP, let's see, DHCP. Nope. Let's do IP DHC. IP like that. And verify what it is. Is it forwarding? I forgot what it is. Anybody remember? Helper address. That's it right there. Boom. Specify a destination address for UDP broadcasts. So we're going to be receiving the address there, but you want to specify the destination address. So we're going to receive the addresses here, but we're going to let them know what the DHCP server is. So IP helper address. And now we're going to put the IP destination address. What's the destination? When we receive those DHCP broadcasts, we're gonna send it to the destination of the DHCP server. What's that DHCP server? 172.16.1. I believe it's 1.1. Was he? Can't even remember. What was he? No, he is 1.2. So that is what we're gonna send it to, just like that. Yes, that's correct, Pete. IP helper address, and Cisco Mail got it also correct. Put the relay on the internal port. That is correct. So copy that right there. Copy. So we go to router 1, and it's IP helper address, and then put that command there. And I believe that's what you got to do right there, right? That is the helper address. So we put the IP helper address on the interface that we're going to be receiving those requests from. So we're receiving those requests from that interface right there. And then we put the destination address of the DHCP server, which is 1.2, That guy right there who's doing the cabbage patch. So let's go ahead and see if we could request a DHCP address, I believe, right? Let me see here. Let's see what the next command is, or next task is. We only got 6 tasks, and we're on task number 5, which we just wrapped up. Configure it to forward DHCP requests from clients connected to FA00 on router 2. Task 6, verify your DHCP configuration on a connected workstation or other DHCP client, and also verify that your server is showing the leased address. So let's go ahead and go on the client, request the DHCP address, pray to the network gods, and hope we get an IP address. Otherwise, we got some bonus troubleshooting, and that's what we're going to have to do. So let's go to the desktop, go to IP configuration, and notice it's set to static right here, right? We could do it here, but I like to go on the command line. So let's go ahead and go in the command line, right? I like to keep it funky or fancy, right? I'm so fancy. We're going to do IP config just like this right here. And notice we got all zeros, right? So we ain't got no IP address right now, right? So let's go ahead and request one. How we do that? We do IP config / what is it? Renew? My bad. IP config hyphen, I believe is renew. You can do it that way, right? What is it? Let's just do renew. Renew. I believe it's hyphen renew, just like that, right? Come on, man. Come on, lad. IP config. And then, geez, I haven't done this in a while, I guess. IP config / all. But you should be able to do renew and release and stuff like that. I forgot what that is, man. Let's do that. Let's do that. IP config hyphen renew. There we go. That's what I was waiting on. I don't know what I did backwards there. So now we renew, and boom, we got an address. Perfect. So notice we got the IP address of 10.112. We got the subnet mask of 255.255.0, which is /24. We got the default gateway 10 111, and we also got the DNS server, which there isn't one configured on this network, but it is what it is. They just did that just to show us how it works, right? IP config / renew. It is renew. Yes, appreciate that one. And yeah, appreciate that one. I don't know what I did backwards there, man. Didn't I do that? Did I not do renew? What was I doing? What was I doing? I said IP config. I put a / renew. Oh, you know what? I put a space there. That's what happened there. I was supposed to renew right after that is renew. And notice I didn't put the space there, and that's how come it went through that time. So let's go ahead. We got an IP address, so that's good to go. And you can verify that. We're also on the. We just go to where was it? On the desktop. So let's go back to the desktop. Close the command line. And remember it said static here. Now we got an IP address. Same information that we saw on the command line, right? And what else we want to do here? I guess we could just ping the default gateway, which is 10.1. But I don't want a default gateway. I want to ping the DHCP server, which was 172.16. He has a remote gateway. remote address. So what basically we do is have the PC ping the default the DHCP server, which was 1.2, right? 172.16.1.2. And then we should be able to write this up and call it a night. Ping 172.16.1.2. We got a reply. We didn't even have to get on our knees to pray to the network gods. Pause. But anyways, next time you guys want to follow along, y'all get a copy of this book. 101 Labs, Cisco CCNA version 4. You can get a copy of this from 101labs.net. There's also a link in the description box below, so you can get a copy of this book. And it is an Amazon link, so it will take you off the YouTube website, and you can get it from Amazon. And it is an affiliate link, so I do get commission if you get it from there. Experts agree that we retain only 10% of what we read, but 90% of what we do. That is why I like this book, because it gives us ways to practice that theory that we learned from them boring-ass, dry-ass books, hands-on and stuff like that, right? So y'all join that Discord server in case you have any other questions or anything like that, or if there's anything else you want me to cover. After, again, we're on lab number 70. There's 101 labs in this book, but there's actually technically about 120 labs in this book. Once we finish this book, we're going to move on to the CCNP topics. So harder topologies, harder topics, more devices, more routers, more switches, maybe firewalls. Oh my. But it's going to be a lot more complex than this. We're just doing the basic CCNA stuff because y'all know I like going back to the fundamentals, man. I'm like Tim Duncan here. So yeah, y'all run me with that like button if y'all like what y'all see. We typically stream Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I typically just do one lab in one stream, but I've been trying to knock these labs out. So once we're done with this book, again, we're going to move on to the CCNP stuff. So for now, comment, like, subscribe to the network.